So as promised, I'll give you my view on the transfer window from an Arsenal perspective. I'll try and summarize everything under 1 minute as requested from you guys, but obviously there's a lot to get through. If we start at the positions that we needed to fill or improve on, namely the left back, the centre back, the midfield, and a winger. I think the latter position, in terms of a winger, was an incredibly important position for us to improve in. And bringing in Nicolas Pepe for me was a fantastic signing, where he gives us a hell of a lot more options, a lot more pace up front, and I'm super excited to see him in an Arsenal shirt. In terms of the shape, I think we haven't had an out-and-out winger for quite a few years, and I think, we've brought in real mediocre players to try and play out of position. For me, Iwobi was never really a winger. Mkhitaryan's not a winger. Even Alexis Sanchez, even though he played out wide, I see him more of an inside forward than anything else. Even though, his time at Arsenal, he did really, really well, and he is such a fantastic footballer in my opinion, that, he can drift out wide, he can take on players, and obviously he had pace and finishing and the rest of it. But as an out-and-out winger, in terms of our shape, someone to hug the touch line, someone who's always available on the touch line in terms of the counter attacks or an out ball, or someone to take on the full backs and draw defenders out of position, allowing players like Ceballos to run in late from midfield, for the cutback, or for him to cross the ball in for our other formidable strikers, as in like Lacazette and Aubameyang is incredibly frightening. I think him and those players, Aubameyang and Lacazette up three, as a front three, is formidable. I think it's really going to scare the life out of players even before they even get on the pitch. And that's something that we've lacked at Arsenal for a long time, since the invincible days, when, they line up in the tunnel, look at your opposition, and they actually start shitting themselves. If I was a defender, it doesn't matter who I play for in the Premiership, even Manchester City and even Liverpool, if I had those three players lined up against me, I would literally be dropping logs in the tunnel. Moving further back, the player that was brought in to replace Aaron Ramsey is obviously Denis Ceballos. Another player I'm super excited to see. Unfortunately, we only brought him on a loan, but we are working on a budget. I think it's a really, really shrewd signing. Who knows what will happen in the future, whether we keep him or whether he goes back. But if we look at this season, what we needed, and what we can do in the future if he does go back, it's another thing. He's an extremely technical player. He's really good on the ball. He's both-footed. He can pass with both feet. He likes to take players on. He likes to get a challenge in. His balance is really good, and he's an exceptional passer on the ball. He's got real vision, and I think again that's a player that we've really lacked since Santi Cazorla's left. Someone really technical gifted, someone who can take on one or two players and work in tight spaces, control the ball, keep possession of the ball, and still find a man to lay the ball off and continue the threat. So another position is obviously the left back position. I think there's another position which we really needed to improve on. Playing a back three, especially with Kolasinac bombing down the wings. As much as he is a fantastic player, he does switch off defensively quite often. And if you look at the big games last season where we got absolutely hammered, a lot of those goals came from the hole that he left in that left back option, with it's really, really easy balls just pumped over the top or fed down out wide, and that caused a lot of problems for us, and actually put our three central defenders under a lot of pressure, really exposing the likes of Mustafi and Koscielny. So that's something to look at. I think Kevin Tierney, he's fantastic at going forward. He can run with the ball. He can take on plays. He's got a great cross, but also he likes to get a challenge in. He likes to track back. He likes being a defender. He was never a winger before. He's always been a defender, and he's obviously got a winning mentality. He's got, at 22 years old, he's got a lot of games under his belt with Celtic, and he's won pretty much everything apart from European competitions at Celtic. So again, I think it's a fantastic addition. If he can stay fit, I think he'll make a hell of a difference. Then moving forward back, looking at the centre-back option, obviously we were linked with some really interesting players, or at least the papers linked us with them. Daniel Regrani, Upamecano, these players that I was really kind of hoping that we did sign. But then we ended up with David Luiz. Like, where the hell did that come from? I don't know what happened. I don't know what discussions were held between Chelsea or what opportunity opened up there. I don't really care. Just seeing the Chelsea fans melt down, it's worth every single penny we've paid. We only paid 8 million for him. He's won everything at Chelsea, I think, except maybe the League Cup. Stand to be corrected, but he's won the FA Cup, he's won the Premiership, he's won the Carling Cup, he's won the Champions League. He's got 250 games under his belt. Chelsea. He's a real character. I can't wait to. Can you imagine him and Aubameyang in the dressing room, revving up the players? I think it's something that we've lacked. I think he's a real good defender. I think he's really underrated. He's played in a lot of different systems under different managers with different defensive ideas and tactical ideas. His best season that he had was actually when Conte, in my view, was when Conte first joined Chelsea and he switched them to a back three, and he was effectively the ball carrier from the back three, linking the defence with the midfield, and I think he was their standout player. If you go on any Chelsea forum or social media platform, you will literally see the fans having a meltdown over losing arguably one of their best players for 8 million. To me, it's a fantastic signing. He could actually be the signing of the season. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that. I know that he makes mistakes, but again, as I keep saying, goalkeepers and defenders make when they do make mistakes, they magnified in the views of in the view of supporters and the media and pundits, and I think not as much as, let's say, a midfielder losing the ball or a striker missing an open net. So I'm really excited to see David Luiz. He's a real character. He's a leader. He's a good defender. He didn't cost us too much, and the players around him can learn a lot. Then the players that depart, I'm not going to speak too much about. This video is already 7.5 minutes, but I'll just speak about the one notable one, which is obviously Iwobi. For 40 million, I'll sell him all day long. Again, I feel he was being played out of position. We weren't getting the best out of him, and the complications with bringing him into that that attacking midfield role with Ozil being there. Ozil definitely, it's complete useless out wide. So he definitely brought in complications, and I think with the emergence of Joe Willock and obviously the addition of Dani Ceballos, I think there was less chance of him being brought into into probably arguably his strongest position. I don't know where he's going to play in Everton, because again, they've got some good wide players, and obviously they've got some good attacking players as well. I don't really care. He's gone. We got 40 million in the bank, and let's hope that we go and get Everton Suarez with that money in January. But again, let's see what happens on that front. But all in all, if I'd rate our season out of 10, I'll definitely give it a 9. And I cannot wait to see these players in an Arsenal shirt.